Welcome to Watchtower Weekly, the podcast of the Coastal Tsunami Hockey Club. Today I'm joined by Jeff Nottingham.
Hi there, how are you?
New CEO or COSO or COO?
Yeah, we're not quite sure yet what we're going to call myself. Had a couple of, you got to put all the vowels together, and I said, no, I don't want to be that one. I don't want to be that one. So we'll probably keep it very simple. But yes.
But you're the man in charge now.
As we move forward into finishing off the tail ends of this year, with the league and everything, yes, I will be the man stepping into the place and trying to move the ship to the next level.
Well, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
And speaking of this year, let's go, it didn't finish the way we wanted, holding a championship, but there was some exciting playoffs, and finishing fifth in the league overall is quite an achievement for a second-year team.
Yeah, no, for sure. We didn't know where we were going to be at the beginning of the season. We honestly didn't. We as an expansion team, you kind of come in and then, oh no, we're going to go into the group of the Tier 1 group, which is what we always wanted to do from day one. But if you look at our record from a year ago, and I go, oh well, we only won 2 games against all those teams, and then you go, oh, we got a lot of work to do. And so we tried to get through what we thought was going to be there. We had a little bit of slower start than they did, but our team came on. It was good. We showed some good from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. We improved almost in every category, which was nice to see. Did we get there at the end? No, but I can tell you what, we probably had the 2 most exciting playoff games on home ice that any team has had in all the playoffs, with the double overtimes, with having a backup goalie in there, coming back from a 5-goal deficit. We got a lot to hang our hat on, but we also have a lot of work to do to get to the next level. Finishing 5th place in our 8-team league, we got to find a way to get to the top half of our league and be consistently there, and that's our goal for this spring.
Yeah, so speaking of that playoffs and the epic game that everybody knows about, the big comeback down by 6 with 5 minutes to go and end up in overtime. Yeah. And hey, on Flow Hockey, they made videos about it. They talked about it. That one, there's a video going out there that's like over 100,000 views. Yeah. And Flow Hockey covers a lot of hockey. Yes, so for the fact that the Coastal Tsunami are on there, that's a huge win for us and for the league itself, right? Because they got the OHL, they got the QJHL, they've got a lot of good hockey, they got all the minor league teams you're competing against there. And just to get on there and talked about like that is a great achievement. Yeah,
no, for sure, and that's what happens when you get in the playoffs. You just never know, and you got to get yourself into the playoffs and get your chance to get that next stage in our fan group, our group within our league, and everybody. We caught people's attention, and I think that is, as a second-year franchise, that's what we kind of wanted to do. If you come out year one and you win and you do everything right away, well, what's left? You know what? We're building year after year after year. We've always thought we're a 5-year program to kind of get there, and we're only finished year 2, and to have that epic playoff game, people went home. People were at home and they're like, what? They were in overtime. They came back with a backup goalie in there as well, right? Not necessarily a backup goalie, but number 2 goalie. Yep. He came in and it brought everybody together, and you just felt that energy.
Definitely talked about all over town, and it's still being talked about. Yeah. Congratulates Ridge Meadows and Langley. Making it to the finals. Yeah. We beat them on the last game of the year to swap spots in them. And then they go on and upset the Chilliwack Jets, who both you and me discussed near the playoffs that both of us thought they might be the sleeper team.
I honestly thought they could have been the sleeper team. They got Kulikov. They got a couple guys back. They made a few minor changes in there. But Langley just played their system, and they just slowly just did what they do. And all year, even us with Langley, we struggled with Langley all year. Mm-hmm. And they just play a system, and they don't overdo too much of anything, but they just play and play and play, and they never give up. And they're a very well coached team, and they're a young team as well. They only had one 20-year-old. And to go into, and Chilliwack is fairly young as well, but then they get into Richmond. Like Richmond lost 5 games all year.
Yeah.
Like how do you you're
And then they lose 4 in 7 games against Langley.
Yeah, you lose 4 in 7 games, and they had 8 20-year-olds, and they that makes a
Yeah, well,
difference,
we
right?
watched them. Like one of the great games to get this team flipped at the start of the year is when we went to Richmond and upset them. That's another great check on the board for the Tsunami. They went against an undefeated Richmond team at that point and gave them a good run.
Gave
And
them a great run.
the confidence in the boys, you saw they just started to have a little more confidence in themselves.
No, for sure. We gained, and that was the first time we ever gotten a point in the standings in 2 years against Richmond. And that's something we accomplished with every team now. We've beaten every single team. And that is something, and as an expansion team, that sometimes that takes a long time. And yeah, sure, our records are still lopsided over 2 years of playing in the league, but we, getting into a team like Richmond, and like what do they have had for the last 3 years in a row? Like 40 wins every year for 3 years in a row, and for us to go in there and win that game, it changed.
And that was with Kindrat too.
That was with Kindrat too,
That's
right?
his first big win.
And so it just shows you, if you can build the right team with the right composure and have it from the trainers to the equipment staff to the coaching staff and everybody in between on the same page, like Langley is right now, you can accomplish something. And that's what that's why it's called a team game, right? You're not worried about 2 or 3 players getting this and doing that. Worry about the team. Let the team win it. The team's going to lose it together, and it just makes it better. And the fans see that too, right? Yeah. They see that, oh, it's a team effort tonight. It's a team effort, and it makes the fans feel better, I think, as well.
Yep. So good luck to Richmond and Langley.
Yes.
Ridge Meadows, pardon me. You got me with that one. But Ridge Meadows going for back-to-back championships.
Yeah, well, back-to-back, right? Three-peat, and which is good. I know they build their team a little bit differently than we have in the past. But their first 2 teams were built. They had players that were there for 2 or 3 years, and this year they had to retool a bit because they lost all 6 defensemen. Well, they lost 5 out of 6 defensemen from last year, so they retooled and hand them some great credit for doing that. Mm-hmm. It's not an easy thing. It's a little easier within the Lower Mainland because you have a little pool that if you got kids that are coming back to go to school and different things, it's a little easier on that side than us. But give them credit. They managed to do that, right? And they're gonna, and they got full complement of their 9 20-year-olds this year, so they're gonna have to retool again. Eventually, hopefully, our system will come along that we can just build teams from coast to coast here and on our coast, that we can bring in players and a younger and build that through, so we can have those 2 or 3 year runs as well.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about what's going on this summer with the Coastal Tsunami, because the season ends, but now you kick in. You got, like say, recruiting and things to do like that, but you also have summer programs and development programs.
So we started, like, our recruitment process started probably back in early December, trying to identify where our league's going to go and what we're going to do, as the change happened last year, and there will be another change coming this year. So we really started to identify players for the Junior A team probably around Christmas time, and that's just ramping up now to doing a lot more focused talk, who we want, get the right personality kind of in here. Most of the skill sets are all the same, but it's like what makes the player tick and stuff like that. So we're really trying to focus on that and get that prepared. We have our ID camp coming up on April 25th and 26th. It's a 2-day camp. We'll bring in approximately top 40 kids that we feel that are there, a few local players as well, just to give them an opportunity and see where they're at. So if they want to go out and work harder and do more things, then that gives them the skill set to say, I need to do this, I need to do that. So we're going to do that. Then after that, for the Junior A team, is June 1st is the big day where our Hockey Canada accounts open up. Hopefully we'll have everything else settled by then, and we'll start signing players for new players for next year, and then all the players that if they're not returning to us, that we're able to move them on at that point with trades and releases and different things at that point. So, but so far it sounds like every player wants to come back that is possibly to come back, which is nice, and then it'll allow us to make some decisions and be better. Locally, we spring programs, spring development programs, we're all basing on the minor hockey system within the Sunshine Coast. We truly, there are players that we've had. We had Lucas Lukakis, right? A local product, started playing here. Yes, he went away and did an academy and a AAA program, but they got to spend the first 13 years somewhere. So we can add to what their development is with the minor hockey programs. from U5 to U18, male and female, is what we're trying to do for this spring, and we'll have summer camps as well at the end of August for them to get prepped for their own trials.
Yeah, that's an amazing thing, because when I was a youth, we all had to travel for summer camps and development camps. You couldn't do it up here on the coast, right? I went to Okanagan hockey school every summer, and I was lucky enough I had parents willing to put out the money and the time to do that. It's much better to have it here at home, where parents don't have to spend all that extra money, and still, and we've got some incredible assets on the Coastal Tsunami to have a great program here, and it's just a great thing to have something like that on the Sunshine Coast.
No, for sure. And having a local hockey development camps, they're called so many different things. Basically it's a hockey school.
Yeah.
And to work on your skill set. It's not really building your team atmosphere. There's some more, spring teams for that. But we want to go out there and be able to make sure everybody's a better skater, a better puck handler, and do all those things so you have more confidence when you get to your regular team and tryouts. Like, you're ready to go, and that's the biggest thing about these camps. Like, everybody, like the Sunshine Coast. Let's face it, you're not thinking hockey in August. In July, because you're going down to the beach, you're going fishing, you're doing other things, you're going mountain biking, you're getting up into nature and stuff like that. So you need to, this allows them, like you said, you don't have to go away. You can come here and do a week full day camp, get ready, and I'm ready for tryouts, and you can make that rep team, or you can be a stronger player in your recreational team. And
just develop your skills, right? Just give these, because kids develop at different levels, and just having the opportunity. Like, I never went anywhere in hockey, but those hockey camps, some of my greatest memories, right? Like, I got to meet some incredible people, and got to learn skills that I wouldn't have learned anywhere else. So.
Yeah. And it keeps you, because now you have a little more confidence in your season, and you may still be on the same team, and it may not got you any further ahead, but you have more confidence in yourself. So later on, when you're into your 30s and 40s and stuff, you have a little more true love for the game, because you felt better at it and you get a better feeling for it, and you have a little longer term outlook for the game, because there's a lot of people that play it and they didn't have much fun. But if you improve your skill sets a bit, you're going to have a little more fun, and that may be a lot lasting.
And you can always become a beer league superstar.
I remember a quote. I was sitting in as I was president of a minor hockey association in the Lower Mainland, and we were having a coaches meeting, and the one coach stands up. He says, "You know what? We had to say why we're coaching and stuff like that. I am here to develop the next generation of beer league hockey players, because let's face it, 99.9% of the kids in our association, if we can make them play beer league, that's a success, because they're still playing hockey, and that's all that matters."
Yeah.
And it's true.
It is. It is. My sister's son, my nephew, he just played. He lives on the island, and he just played in his beer league cup final. And me and my sister were talking about how so good that he's back playing hockey, because he didn't play hockey for 5 years. He went to university and he didn't play hockey, and she said it was just so exciting to go out and watch him play again. And that's just the whole point. Like, we're Canadians, we're meant to play hockey. I'm out there still at my age, dragging my butt around, and I'm getting worse, not better. But the guys that's what we do. We go
just developing yourself a new role on the ice, right?
Well, I always say, when you start, you're 10 kids following a puck like this around the ice, and then you learn how to play. And then as you get older, and then when you're at 80, you're just falling. There's 10 kids falling around the puck. You start where you finish where you start.
It's amazing as you get on in the beer leagues, and you notice how many times, even this year, and I don't play any beer league hockey, but I was on the ice a few times, and coaching some 7 and 9 year olds and stuff. And it's like, I fell a couple times. I'm going, I can't remember the last time I fell on the ice. Like, what's going on? I stepped on a cone. I avoided a kid one time, and I fell, and both times I'm going, man, this is not fun, right? But you're doing it all by yourself, and you can just imagine, as you get into the beer leagues, it's competitive. I think the Sunshine Coast finals this weekend.
Yeah.
And you just look at it and you go, let's just hope that no one falls down in warm up sometimes, right? It's like,
Well, and it's an interesting final, because there's a big juggernaut. Everyone knows Custom Carp is the big juggernaut, and the fallers, which my stepson plays on, they're usually the last place team in the league. And
So you mean they're the team that has the most fun after the games?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
There's a reason why they're last, because they have the most fun.
That him himself, he stopped when he went to school, and he's a helicopter pilot, so he works out of town a lot. So he had stopped playing for a few years himself, and he got back into it. And that same thing, he said, "I'm just so glad I just get to play."
Yeah.
You know, so he even told his boss, "I gotta be back," because he got sent out this week on a trip, and he says, "I gotta be back by Saturday. I gotta be back by Saturday."
Yeah, and it's true, and that's why you go in and do all your, if you play a little spring hockey, a little summer hockey, and you do these camps as a kid, and you're doing that, and the big picture down the road that you're becoming a bigger fan to the game. So down the road, you're taking your kids to maybe a Canuck game. Or a junior hockey game, or you come a season ticket somewhere, where you come back and you get back as a volunteer in something, and you're part of the beer league system and stuff like that, or the adult hockey league, right? Whatever you want to be politically correct. But you come and
we're a Carhartt group on the coast,
right? So you're just trying to get everybody's level just a little more into the game. You know what? Let's face it.
It's just
Canada.
hockey. It's Canada. Which, you know, and it's good for staying in shape unless you get hurt, right? Like sometimes that happens, and but health wise, it's good to be doing things, and community wise, a lot of things come out of it. There's a lot of good charity events and done through the old timers, the Rusty Cranks. They're the over 65 group here on the coast, and they do charities.
So that's our next league.
That's the one can't wait to, because every time you break into a league, right? I'm in the over 45 league. When I started playing over 45, I was one of the best players.
Yeah.
Now I'm on the back end, so I'm one of the bench warmers, right? So as soon as I get to that 65, then I'm back to the top line guy.
Yeah.
Top line guy.
And that's the nice thing about it. We have all this, and we're bringing up these young kids, and we're doing that. Besides the junior kids, but everything else within the community.
It's
down the road, right? You come through the game, and there's always a group of guys standing here, another group here, some couples over there talking, and what are they all brought together by? The game of hockey.
Yeah.
Right. And us as a junior A team and the Coastal Tsunami is that we're trying to make every game an event for people, so they can come out. Yeah, they want to see us win, they want to see us get better and all that, but we also want to make it just an event for them, and that's why we have improved so much on our in-game stuff with our everybody that we brought in this year. Better concession, better everything. There wasn't one thing that we did not try to improve, and we did, and it's to make it better for the community and all these hockey guys that just love the game of hockey. So.
Well, it's just a great thing, because growing up we didn't have anything. There was no, and when I went to visit my aunt in Victoria, we'd go see the Cougars play.
Yeah.
And when I go see my cousins in town, we'd go see the New Westminster Bruins play. And I was lucky enough to be able to go to a few Canucks games every year. But the junior games I really loved, because it was just
more raw.
Yeah, it was, and back, we're talking the 70s, 80s here. So there's
a little more friendlier games.
Yeah, there was a little love passed around back in the day like that, but it was just exciting to go. And I remember it was an exciting thing, and that's what I love about having the Coastal Tsunami 100%. Here. You don't, because of the ferry, you're limited, and the cost the cost of going to Canucks game now, a lot of families can't afford that. So it's an awesome ability to have the Tsunami here. Yeah, the skill level's not the same, but it's still hockey, and these kids are still playing their guts out.
And you compare game one to our last game here, game one a year ago, to game what I guess we're at about 90, or I guess we're over 100 games now, playoffs, is that we our last team would beat our very first game. We'd probably win 10-0. That's how much they've improved. We're just getting better. Yeah. And that's our goal, is just to maintain and get better year after year. And you never know. Look at Langley, right? They're having a run. Yeah. And that's a sixth-place team having a run. And that just goes to show, really the top 6 teams in our league, that's how close they were. And Poco wasn't that far out, and neither was Burnaby. But it's just that you get on the right run at the right time. It can happen.
Get some goaltending, because Broussard's playing real well for Langley right now. But Langley has done a great job of, against Richmond, of forcing Richmond out of their game. And then you saw a lot of things that you see when a team gets frustrated, teams becoming individuals and stepping away from the plan that got them there.
Yeah,
Why that happens, who knows? But that it happens at every league.
Yeah, no, it does, and that's the thing. Where it's going to be interesting when they go against Ridge. That Ridge is, they're
disciplined.
They still got their 2 or 3 forwards that have been there for 3 years that have been part of the key acquisitions of their last 2 championships, and they got their goalie back to back here again. And so it's going to be interesting if they can. The biggest thing is you stay out of the penalty box against Ridge, and that will cut down on the scoring opportunities and play them 5-on-5. And Langley's not a team to take a lot of penalties. They're definitely not like us who took a lot of penalties. But if you stay out of the box against Ridge and limit their power play to a couple chances, and beat them,
you got a chance.
Yep, and they can be beaten 5-on-5. We proved it. We had 2 overtime games. We beat them this year, and we were all over them. The games we stayed out of the penalty box, and that will be the key for Langley, I think. Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming out and doing the podcast with us, and have a great summer. And
yes, well, hopefully we get to talk one more time, because I think over the next couple of weeks we're going to have some good, big information coming out. So once that gets released, we should, maybe get some new people and myself back on here and get our fans some more information on what's happening with the Junior A team.
all right.
All right.
Thanks for your
Awesome.
time.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on Watchtower Weekly.